I'm sad.
Wow, you didn't even give the time to. You went straight into this. For once, it was I who was surprised by the intro. That's new.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this. I was shocked and odd. So hard. Usually it is I who plays the joke, but today it was not.
Sometimes you're the joke, sometimes you're the joker. The junker.
We're the Jonkler. Hi everyone, welcome to the Skeleton Crew podcast. This episode is gonna be more Heike story, or at least half of that. We'll see how long that lasts.
If the intro was any indication.
I did call this Samurai and Sadness, and I meant every word of that statement. And
Stross,
yeah,
what the fuck is this?
uh, the end of an era, which is always a sad thing.
Yeah.
So, shall we discuss what happened on Heike Stories episode 4 through 6?
Yes, let's do that very thing.
Mm-hmm. So, we start off with things already kind of going downhill. As in
Yeah.
episode 4.
Um and I mean in advance, spoilers for multiple thousand-year-old historical events. I don't remember. Spoilers for stuff that already happened in real life, but also for the show. Yeah.
Yeah, so really the big thing that happens in episode 4 is, well, do you want to say it or should I?
Dad fucking died.
Yeah, Shigemori suddenly passes away after getting horrifically sick.
Died of a tummy ache, as was the fashion in the day.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess we should really start with where the episode started, and that is good old Tokuko finally has a kid, and she's fine.
Yay!
Nothing bad happens to her, which is nice.
She doesn't seem very happy though.
No, no, her marriage to the emperor has been trying due to Heian era love making rituals of, yeah, what if we just cheated on each other, but not with each other?
Yeah, you know what? I had a baby with you. That was great. That was Poggers. I'm gonna go have a baby with this other lady now, and I've decided I like her more than I like you.
And it doesn't, and she's sad about it. Not about the child part. She seems to like the child.
I mean, it's a baby. It's hard not to like the baby.
Hmm. And she does ask Biwa, because if you don't remember or have not been watching along, Biwa can see into the future. Biwa says, I cannot, as a way to not ruin her day. She looks into the future. It ruins her day. And
So,
yeah.
I mean, really, you look into the future. What the fuck good is there gonna be in the future?
Also,
Nothing.
yeah, well, nothing, as her sister Moriko died at the age of 24. That's depressing.
That sucked.
Yeah,
A
that sucked.
lots of important character deaths. I mean, or at least like character deaths that affect a significant chunk of people.
Yeah. We never really meet Moriko in this whole thing, by the way. She's just kind of, we know about her, but we never really meet her in any real
Yeah.
capacity. But instead, because this is a time of superstition, everyone's like, ah, shit, people are getting punished for doing the bad thing. So Shigemori goes to a temple and is like, I do not want to live to see the fall of the tyrant, and then shortly dies afterwards. And oh. And then at the end of the episode, he's very much dead, and it is not happy. We were not
He's dead.
happy.
I did cry. Just for the record, I cried.
That's understandable.
Um, there is a very very upsetting but very beautiful bit towards the end of that episode where he asks Biwa to play some music for him, and she's there with him as he passes. And also, Mother of God, Biwa's voice actress is remarkable. The raw emotion she is capable of is it's she's good.
Yeah,
She's so
no.
good.
It is. Aoi Yuki is a very talented lady.
Yeah.
She's more famous for other things, and is in a whole bunch of stuff that you probably have seen. But this is sort of
We're
one of
not here for
those.
those.
This is one of those prestige things that you get to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I get to, it's like when an actor gets like, oh, I get to act. It's great.
Yeah.
I get to be an actress today.
And she fucking flexes all over the place. Like she's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's if you know your Japanese actors, she's in a whole bunch of random stuff that you've definitely heard of, from
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's popular but garbage to stuff that isn't popular like this to stuff that is popular and not bad. Like everyone else. Like most actors,
Yeah.
she's in a whole bunch of stuff of ranging of various qualities and goodness. But yeah, she's really good in this. Like, I mean, everyone is, but she's very good in this. Especially
It's
towards the end of the episode when she realizes that Shigemori is very dead.
yeah.
And it's not like a loud cry, it's a very, like, loud, short, like, sudden, oh no. Really, all of what we watched today was, oh no.
There was a lot of oh no, oh gee, oh fuck.
But yeah, I mean, basically, this whole episode is sort of about Shigemori dying, who you did not know that was going to happen.
He's he's in the opening.
For those who haven't watched the opening is of Biwa sort of going towards a place while various people are seen in like various vignettes, and he's the second character you see in person in that regard. And it's like, oh, he's gonna be important. He is. We did say he was gonna be around very long.
Like, okay, I know him being in the opening doesn't mean that he's, you know what I mean. I just
Yeah, we are conditioned in a lot of shows that if you're in the opening a lot, you're probably gonna make it at least halfway through
you've
the
at least
series.
got some mileage.
Yeah, you're supposed to be around a while. He's not.
It's like, no, fuck you. Shigemori's dead.
He makes it about a third of the way through the series.
I'm really mad. They he was hot. He was kind of hot, okay?
I'm not denying that statement. He is supposed to be generally attractive. It's just, I love how that's the thing you go with.
Other things too.
I mean, yeah, no, he's very, like, the big key, at least in the story dynamic, is that he's like the last bastion of being able to curb. While Shigemori is technically the head of the Heike clan, he's not.
He was the last competent person with good intentions.
It needs to be stated that really, in terms of the family, the head of the clan is technically Shigemori. His father Kiyomori is the real power in the family still, because he's still very
puppet master.
yeah. Not so much, not just like puppet master, like oh secret advisor. He's more of like the guy in charge.
No, he's very obviously in charge. Like there's no sneaking around about it. Like he's giving the orders, everybody else is taking them.
And this is actually really demonstrated in the next episode where now that Shigemori's dead, it moves on to sort of the younger brothers of Tomomori, who's the one we like because he's a large dumb idiot, and we like our large dumb idiots.
You do.
And the smaller, rounder idiot Munamori, who's the one now officially in charge. And when their father orders something, they just do it.
Okay, Dad.
Munamori is not presented in a very nice light. He talks like this, ho 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 ho, and he's got buck teeth. He's not drawn
He's
in an attractive way.
there's nothing flattering about his portrayal here.
There really isn't. He's not meant to be flattering because things don't go well from here. But yeah, Shigemori's death is very. We both were like sniffling and like, oh no, it's bad. It's
Yeah,
bad. And
that
it,
hurt.
yeah, it hurts because, we had been with Shigemori for the first 3 episodes. It's like, oh, this guy's very nice. He's the one who bounces out his father's incredible ambition with being like, we shouldn't do this. We should do this instead.
It's it's kind of like that one really decent person in middle management at your work who like actually spoke up for people, and then all of a sudden one day he tells you, by the way, I'm leaving, I'm quitting.
Yeah,
That's what it felt.
he is definitely the one sort of keeping, like, the wheels are starting to fall off of this cart, but he's the one keeping it together.
And
Like,
there was maybe hope of things going okay for a little while, and now he's gone.
and yeah, at the moment he dies, you kind of get this feeling of, like, the first thing is, the person who probably takes it the hardest is actually Kiyomori, which I like. Like,
It's nice to see, yeah.
he's shocked. Like, everyone thought he's gone senile because of it. And, I mean, mind you, it should be mentioned, his youngest daughter also died earlier in the episode, so it's like, back to back child death is not something a person even like him. Because we established in the first time we talked about it, Kiyomori is a bastard,
He's a mean motherfucker, but he's human.
and he loves his family. He does everything for the Heike, and that includes his kids, who he does constantly. Like, he acts like a nice grandfather to his grandkids all the time.
He very clearly loves his family.
Yeah.
Like, he's a bad person, but he loves his family.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to put it is that uh, the moment he, like, seems to go senile, Shirakawa's like, hey. Like, literally.
Hey, girl.
You know that one gif of that one lady coming in going like, hey. It's like that
Yes.
immediately, and it's great.
Oh God, what's the picture from Tom and Jerry of like Tom peeking around the door?
Yeah, it's every image of someone looking, like, poking their head out and being like, it's my time.
Hey.
Yeah. So yeah, and basically in the this is which leads to the second battle, to the not battle episode. Though the battle did happen in our second episode.
It feels like a battle.
The battles with our emotions, our poor emotions. We go into our second episode where after Go Shirakawa starts doing things, Hiyomori learns it and it's like, oh, fuck this. Hell no. I'm not senile yet. Which is actually a really fun scene because he gets up and he's like pissed.
Like, Kiyomori does not get visibly angry very often. He's pretty in control of his emotions, so it's fun to see him just rage.
Well, like, the way to put it is, in the episode where he killed a man, well, got a man killed, he's annoyed, but he never, like, this is the first time we really see him, like, mad. It's like, how dare he think I've gone senile and not done this thing?
That old bald bitch. I'm the only old bald bitch here.
Yeah, so after that, he makes moves to exile people, lock up Go Shirakawa, who's technically not emperor, but everyone calls him emperor because he's just retired.
Yeah.
Like he's just like how everyone calls Kiryu the fourth chairman of the Tojo clan. It's like you're not chairman any. You haven't been. You were chairman for 15 minutes. You're still chairman though.
It sticks.
It sticks. And we have another battle scene for once.
Yeah.
And before we get to that, I'm just rereading the episode description because a lot happens in these episodes. Like, it doesn't feel like a lot of things happen, but a lot actually does happen.
Yeah.
So trying to remember all 3 episodes is kind of hard. A lot of emotional things happen every time. You're just like,
Also, just an observation now that we're seeing a little more of him. I love what a catty bitch Go Shirakawa is. Like, I think he's one of my favorite characters in this because he's just, I don't know, I like him.
everything about him. It needs to be said that he's constantly trying to outmaneuver Kiyomori like at every turn because he
I'm
wants
like,
the real political battle of this series is who ends up control of Japan. Is it going to be the Heike, led by Kiyomori, and whoever takes over after him, or is it going to be whoever Go Shirakawa supports? And the answer is, we don't know yet, but
it is a mystery.
ooh, it is a mystery. And basically, in this episode, after Munamori insulted a member of the Genji, aka the Minamoto clan, they're like,
Mhm.
they went to Go Shirakawa's other kid, and they're like, Prince Mochihito, please help us. He's like, okay.
Sure.
And so he does.
Or at least he tries.
He tries. It doesn't go well. Which leads to our first ever major battle sequence since a bunch of monks got killed.
Mm-hmm.
And this time around, it's on a bridge.
And I like, again, I really like how kind of grounded the way they depict battle in this is because like a big thing about this is that it's like they're part of the bridge is missing. The Genji have taken out part of the bridge.
I don't think it's the Genji.
So
I think it's the monks specifically.
the monks.
Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, it was
Don't
the
worry.
monks.
The Genji are starting to show up. So
Yeah.
anyway,
But yeah, they take out part of the bridge, so that like puts a serious damper on the battle because it's like, well, fuck, we got our superior numbers, but we we can't go across.
it's hard
And
to
like
cross them.
200 dudes get dumped into the river because the rear of the charge like doesn't hear to stop.
Yeah. And it's just
And
like, it's just so funny to be like something so simple as removing part of a bridge can be so efficient.
I like that they acknowledge that in this, that it's like, it's, battle's not some like glorious thing. It's like, it's tedious and awful and horrible.
And the person who best demonstrates how bad all this is Shigemori's oldest son, Korimori,
Oh, Korimori,
who
baby,
we need to
baby.
understand that Korimori is established from the get-go as someone who should not be near battle.
To dance.
Yeah, he's an artist. He's a coward. He's jumpy. Like, he's not a bad person. He's just very clearly wasn't meant to be a warrior.
He's a soft boy.
He's a very soft boy, and it's just he's not in charge here. He's just part of the battle, and he doesn't do a whole lot, but it fucks him up, man.
And they do a really good job with showing that trauma.
Yeah.
Like,
Much like in like a lot of the other action sequences, this is not shown really. Like, maybe you get a still of something happening. Like, we get one monk who came out with no armor and no shirt, and it's just like, I'm bad.
that guy was cool.
That guy was cool. He doesn't even say anything. He's just there, and he looks neat. clearly that part was based after probably an actual piece of artwork as a reference because it looks neat.
Hmm.
But it's just there's this sequence towards the end of the episode where Biwa sort of looks to. Was it this episode? No, it was this episode
I
because
think it was
Biwa.
it was the next episode.
Oh yeah, I think it was the next episode. But there's these moments where you could really tell because the camera goes into Corey Mori's perspective of the battle, and even though he doesn't do a lot of fighting, it's just like chaotic, bad. There's a really nice picture of some crows that's very hyper detailed and like feels very out of place.
Those crows are scary. I don't like those crows.
Those crows are scary. They saw everything. And this
But
leads.
there's
No, go for it.
yeah, sorry. There's a real sense of like it's really good at showing like kind of how surreal and how like I don't know that detachment from reality during the battle. It's just chef's kiss, so good. Ugh.
Well, like a great example is by the time Corey Mori gets to the other side, like the temple that they were attacking is already on fire, and it just feels surreal. The whole thing feels surreal, and it like Corey Mori, like for the rest of the time we see him, is not having a good time, and you feel for him because everyone points out, especially his younger brothers, like Corey Mori is not a warrior.
No.
He wasn't meant for this. And it's very obvious because the next episode makes it even more obvious when in an attempt to keep their power secure, Kiyomori has everybody move their ass to Fukuhara.
And people are like packing up the timbers of their houses so
Yeah.
they can move. It's bad.
Yeah, it's like everyone. Everyone is moving. We also see the ascension of a new emperor.
Baby Emperor, all hail Baby Emperor.
The youngest emperor ever made. He's like 3.
Maybe
It's-
3.
Hold on, I'm looking. Yeah, I think he's maybe 3, and Emperor Ontaku.
Because things are going really, really well for you when you're, having a baby ascend to the throne.
Yeah,
Always, child emperors, really, really good sign of things going well.
Mm-hmm. But in all of this, we learn of interesting. So we also meet a new character, a name that you probably recognized very well, but never put a face to, Atsumori.
I was making the face when they said his name. It's like, yeah, you
You're
fucking
like,
know me. I'm that guy.
For those who don't know, a very famous bit of no theater is called the Atsumori.
He is also a soft boy.
He's also an incredibly soft boy. Like, one of the things we know as it's very clear war is coming is that a lot of the younger members of the family are like, these boys weren't meant to fight.
They're little marshmallow babies.
They're very marshmallowy. Like, Atsumori is like, he has no idea what battle is like. Like, the moment he talks about battle, like, the youngest son of Kiyomori, who we also meet in these episodes, Shigahara, is just like, instantly goes away from talking about battle.
He was the one who burned down the temple. I mean, not because he wanted to, but because he had to.
Yeah, it got dark. It's like, shit, we can't see in the dark, which, he's right. He even states, it's like, I didn't realize it was going to spread that fast. And it's like, Kiyomori doesn't give a shit because that's the type of shit he does on the regs. But everyone else is like, oh god, what have I done?
But yeah, that scene where Atsumori's like, "Wow, that was such a cool move," and Shigehira's like, "Anyway."
Yeah, anyway, let's play our flutes in a very calming scene that's not gonna last as well, things happen again. This time
Everything
around,
happens so much.
this time we have a new player has entered the match.
Oh boy.
One Minamoto no Yoritomo.
Mm-hmm.
And Yoritomo is taking up by order of Go Shirakawa. And this scene is great because he first is presented the head of his late father. He's like, is this really my dad's skull? I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
It's like, I'm not really sure it's a skull. How the hell am I supposed to know? It's like, I got word from the Emperor Go Shirakawa. It's like, is this real? Like, are you sure this is real? It's like, yes, it's genuine. It's it's a monk or something. I don't even know if he has a proper name.
Yeah, he was a monk.
I know
Uh,
we know he's a monk because that's how he's dressed, but I don't know who his name is. He's like an attendant to Go Shirakawa,
mm,
and it's just so funny because it's just like he's like everyone's just like he's raising an army, and it's like he's the doofiest guy in this. He's just like, well, yeah, all right,
all right.
okay. Oh, you're gonna love him more when you see. Oh, we haven't even introduced you to his wife yet.
But yeah, it's an interesting episode. I think this is definitely kind of this is the bit of the story where things are really starting to fall into place, and the train is visible on the horizons, but we are just hanging out on the tracks having a great time right now.
Yep. Because we start seeing there's a great conversation about all this because there's really sort of three types of scenes in this show. The first scenes are like the political scenes with Kiyomori or Go Shirakawa where they're maneuvering and being like, if we do this and I do this and this will
There's
happen.
dudes sitting behind screens and cutting up sake jugs, and yeah.
Yeah. And then we get like sort of the like slicey, lifey type of stuff of people just kind of hanging around talking about what's going on. A
Hmm.
lot of that. Those are really fun. But then we get the scenes with Tokuko, which is them sort of like talking about life as now she's a mom. And Biwa asks her about sort of like, oh yeah, my husband's been not spending time with me because we were politically engaged. And it's awkward. And then she
I
asked,
married him when he was like 9.
and I was like 14. And now we're
Don't
like
have a whole lot in common.
19 and 24. And they're both like, and she asks, it's like, well, I forgive people because, well, someone has to forgive. Oh, right, we missed a very important statement that Biwa inherited Shigemori's eye to see the dead. Totally missed talking about that.
Yeah, probably an important thing to mention. Yeah, so she can do that now.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that sequence is when she asked Tokuko, like Tokuko's like, in this era where things are going bad and not well, I'm gonna try to forgive and make peace. And it's like, oh, you are too good for this sinful earth. And then Biwa sort of covers her future sight eye for her dead sight eye.
Oh.
And she asks her father and Shigemori, do you forgive? But then Shigemori says back, like, do you forgive? And you're like, I wasn't expecting to have to go through this difficult discussion right now.
Also, I think Tokuko's a really interesting character because like I think it's very easy to see her as kind of, being very passive and very gentle, but it's like the bit about forgiveness I thought was interesting because it's just the way she talks about it, it's like, and I will forgive and forgive and forgive. And it's like there's something behind that there that was I don't know, it's heavy. It's
Well,
really heavy.
I think the best way to put it is that what it really shows is it's her own strength.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy for like because she comes from a family of warriors and like her father Kiyomori just is always willing to suddenly enact a level of violence whenever it benefits him, which makes sense because that's what he's always been doing
Yeah.
as like a person. So when so Tokiko is like, I'm gonna be a nicer person and not do that.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It,
That
it's
that's her
that,
strength.
her strength is in her conviction of being like, I think there is more to this world than pain and suffering, and I'm gonna try to make it so.
And choosing to forgive people and choosing to see the good in them is an it's her choice, and that's also fucking hard to do. It's hard to forgive people, especially when people um are horrible and make choices for you that aren't really your own. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those things where it's just what makes that sequence so great is because it transfers into sort of Koromori's nightmares about the battle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, God, this boy really does not should not be attached to this because guess what? He has to go back to battle again.
Ooh.
And oh, this is a rather famous story from the time, and it's the Battle of Uji River, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just so embarrassing. No, not Uji River. It's the other one. It's basically the story is the Heike gather 70,000 men, and they're like, we're gonna ride on the Genji, crush him now before they cause problems, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Kiyomori's thought process is fine, so he sends Koromori, who is just even when that is announced, everyone's like, "Are you sure? You want to go with this plan, Dad?" And he's like, "Of course I want to go with this plan. His father was able to do this. He can too." And everyone's just like, and it doesn't go well, and not for the reasons that you think. You want to describe what happened?
Oh, first of all, the show presents this in a really good way that like didn't instantly have me feeling like laughing as soon as like they do a good job of depicting how tense like the situation was. But basically what happens is there's a bunch of like herons on the water that divide them, and the and all the birds start flying all at once. And the sound is so loud that it scares the Heike into retreating. They get scared away by a bunch of birds.
Yeah. Well, it should be prefaced that there's a bit to it from the start that's really funny, which is there's a Koromori is given two retainers from previous battles because he's young, he's never really done this before, he's grown up in peacetime, so he never had to really be a warrior, and it's just really funny because like the oldest one, like when asked about because they're told that like Yoritomo has raised 200,000 men, which is a lot, right?
That's a huge bunch of dudes.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of people, especially for when you're just. And they're like, and that's more than they brought. Now that's supposedly, and then
Allegedly.
and allegedly, and so everyone's like, oh, that's dangerous. But the main strategy is like, don't worry, they won't attack at night because they'll attack in the morning. And they're like, okay, okay. So he then asks the older gentleman, it's like, oh, how are the Genji slash Minamoto RS fighters? And they're like, oh, they're very dangerous and incredibly competent, and they will kill us all. And it's just like,
They,
this freaks out everybody. And his
and then
reasoning is so bad. It's like, I thought it would stir them up. And everyone's just, and the guy's just like,
but I think it goes to show you that old guys are the same no matter what era of time you're in.
yep. It's like, oh
Because
no.
that's some shit my dad would do.
It's like, here, I will talk you up by talking about how dangerous the enemy is, and everyone's just like,
Their archers can shoot through 2 or 3 suits of armor with one arrow. It's like, okay.
and then and then the next part, it's like, oh, the riders will ride you down even over the corpses of their fallen family members. It's like, yes, let's make them sound scarier.
Very helpful. Thank you very much.
It's just so funny to be like, oh, I thought I was helping them, and everyone's just like, you did not.
And just classic. It's so classic.
It's this classic, like, whoops.
Well, I thought I'd whip those youngsters up. They're too soft these days.
And everyone, luckily, everyone looks at him as just like, you dumb, stupid man.
It is very funny. Like,
So, when the herons start flying all around, they think they're being attacked, and they
yeah.
panic and run, and it's just like, Cory Mori doesn't even have a chance to even prove himself. It's so bad that he almost gets exiled if it wasn't for everyone else.
And I honestly feel like looking at the guy, maybe he would have preferred that.
Yeah, no, it's like with Cory Mori, it's probably better that he didn't because then he wouldn't have been horribly killed. What just really makes this whole situation really funny is afterwards is that in the morning the Genji start moving in and they're like, "Huh, why did they run? I guess
Huh?
they got scared by the
That's weird.
birds." And Yoritomo's like, "Really? Huh?" He just
Like
shows up with his
it's
large
it's
head. Excuse me, long head. He has a long head. He's got a very thin, long design.
it's shaped kind of like a spoon,
Kinda, yeah.
but it's a very silly story, and the again, the show does a great job of like portraying it in such a way that it's like you can acknowledge the ridiculousness of it, but also like have some empathy for like why it happened.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a sequence where you feel for Corey Mori because it's like he shouldn't
Oh
be here in
God.
the first place. But the outcome is kind of hilarious in that this is
My yeah. My
eh.
my heart hurts for Cory Mori because like eh, it's only going to get worse, and it's like I can't help feeling like dude's gonna do something fucked up at some point because he is like at his breaking point.
Yeah, we see towards the end of this episode he's fighting at they're at the new capital and Biwa's like following a cat, which was
It's very cute.
the happiest part of this episode for everybody involved.
Very cute little kitty.
It's a very cute white cat, and she's like, "Oh, why don't you go dancing?" He's like, "No, I gotta change." And he's just like out there swinging a sword at a tree. Just he's not in a good place.
And again, the voice acting is superb because he's screaming while he's doing this, and it's like, oh, oh no. And I'm sad for him, but also like I'm a little bit afraid of him because like this is a person like put through situations that they were not prepared for.
Ed shouldn't be a part of. Like that's a big
No.
part of all of this. It's like it's very obvious that he's not meant for this.
No.
He was meant to dance.
It's like some people were not meant to be great warriors, and the pressure of war is not going to turn coal into diamonds. It is going to break them utterly, and
Yeah,
that's not their fault.
and it's all and you can the one theme of a lot of these episodes is it's all going downhill from here, and it's just keeps going down and
I,
down.
I am horrified to see what happens next, but I can't stop watching.
Mostly because it's still, unsurprisingly, very good.
It's it's so good.
It's
It's
it's still incredibly well animated, and like they know when to go off model to make things
yes.
look more squishy.
Yeah, it's a very nice, like malleable kind of style.
Well, like there's a sequence in like the fourth episode where uh no, not Minamori. Which one is it? Who is it? It's Shigemori's second son, and I can't remember what his name is all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a bit frustrating because there he's in a lot of scenes.
He is.
Which is why I'm a bit mad at myself. But they're talking about the characters. They're talking about like this life, and it's this somewhat comedic scene, and it's just so funny when it happens because you know they're talking. He's talking about his love life again, and it's like maybe if I
Yeah,
make her
yeah, he's
jealous.
lamenting. It's like, hey, Biwa, you should pretend to get with me so it makes her jealous, and then Biwa like beats his ass.
Right, well, they start Sukimori. That's his
Yeah.
name. And it's just so funny because when that sequence happens, she starts getting catty with him. And when we mean catty, we mean like cat. Actual cat.
Just a cat.
This guy's ah. And but it's in this like sibling way, and their faces are all very like round and squishy because it's like this is a scene where things are nice.
Yeah.
Because they're
It's like
talking about something very nice and happy.
it's two kids bickering.
Yeah, it's two siblings bickering specifically. Because they act like siblings the entire time.
And Biwa is still charmingly feral.
Yeah. And I guess the best way to put it is it's just highly amusing
Yeah.
when it does happen. So it's just like, maybe if I make her jealous, she'll want to get with me. And she's just like, no. Smack.
Absolutely not.
Whack. It's great. It's and it's sort of like that's what makes this whole thing tragic is that you get this idea of who everyone is and their dynamic, even if you don't really remember who's who or able to keep track because there's a lot of characters in all of this.
Yeah, it's like even if you are not like one-to-one understanding the politics and the dynamics of everything going on at every single moment, you still understand and you still care.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. You still care because everyone acts very kind to one another. Like they're still a family and they're still trying to make this work. And
Even
it's
as it's clearly not
oh,
working.
it is very not working. Like it's very clear that Shigehira is just like also highly affected by battle where it's just like kind of isn't also good at this. Like the only one who seems to be any good at the whole battle thing is Kiyomori, who is really old and not able to do it.
And also
Shigemori,
an awful person.
but awful person in the sense that he's a politician.
Yeah.
Shigemori, who is dead, and Tomomori seems to be, like a talented fighter, but he's
And
kind of dumb.
Tomomori is a great big Labrador retriever of a man.
He's even like that in the opening.
Yeah.
Like when you see him in the opening, he's like playing with the kids, and he's a very large guy, so they're like hanging off his arms. He's having fun. And you're like,
He's
oh,
like swinging him around.
he's the jock uncle.
Yeah.
He's the uncle who plays sports with you when you're a child.
He's cute. I like him. Something horrible's probably gonna happen to him.
Don't worry, he's not gonna die for a while.
Oh, good.
I like how you. I mean, in fairness, everyone in this show who's a named character is very dead.
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna be real here for a second. Like, when we say like I could say everyone here is dead because they are. They are.
This thing that happened hundreds of years ago, those people died?
All this happens in the late 12th century, so it's.
Say it ain't so, Stross.
But yeah, it's the only one we don't like is Munamori because he's kind of a dick.
He's that way by design.
Yeah. And he's never presented as a nice person, not because no one here is evil, but he's just kind of like
he just kind of sucks.
yeah, he just kind of sucks, but in a way that doesn't make you feel like he's the worst person alive, just a dumbass.
He's just the friend nobody likes.
He's incompetent, but you could tell because he was not like everyone just assumed Shigemori was going to take over, and it's like, yeah, I get that. Shigemori was competent and smart.
And handsome.
Yeah, and instead his ugly ass brother's now in charge, and everyone's just like, uh-oh.
Wow.
It's not good. Not good, Sardo. It's not good.
It's not good, Stross. Not it's a bold move. It's a bold move, Cotton. It's not gonna go well.
Yeah, it's not been going well. But
yeah. So I love this show so far. I'm very glad you wanted to watch it. Fuck you for having us watch this. From the bottom of my heart.
It is definitely like, I love this, but also I'm in great and terrible pain every single second.
I am enjoying the show. I've recommended it to several people already. I am punching you very hard in the arm in like a friendly way for having us watch it.
You're crying as you're smiling. It's an interesting sit because it's very rare to get a show like many shows tug at your heartstrings or make you happy or make you cry. It's very rare for a show to make you care about someone in 3 episodes, then kill them and make you like, this is the worst thing that's happened to me all day.
I'm every crying cat meme like all at once watching this.
It really is a very well executed show, and it's really impressive how well it does. Kind of everything.
I'd say like the experience of this show so far has been like it's like going for a bike ride on a really lovely spring day, and you're out and you're admiring the scenery, the birds are singing, it's beautiful. And then you hit a pothole going at a fairly good rate of speed, and the bike just dumps you off face first. And you get up and you're crying because you're hurt. And you get back on your bike and you keep going. And then there's another pothole down the road. But it's such a nice day that you just want to keep that ride going.
Mm-hmm. And it's really because it's a very well made show, I think is the best way to put it.
Yes.
Like, it's well written, it's well animated, they know when to spend money on their budget, and it's this understanding of visuals. Like, every episode director deserves a lot of credit. Like, not every episode's directed by Yamada. The first one's directed by Yamada, and the last one's directed by Yamada, but Yamada's the one who's, like, overall in charge.
Yeah, and it's like everybody on the team is doing a great job.
From the from writer Reiko Yoshida to the storyboard artist, which there are several. Just a lot of people are involved. Like, it's really like everyone coming together and saying, this is very well done.
It's beautifully crafted.
Yeah, it's a very well crafted thing, and it's sort of, I think, what makes it very interesting. It's like very well directed. Like, the camera work is particularly fantastic.
Yes.
And you know who also said that?
Oh.
Hideo Kojima.
Damn!
I mean, of course Kojima watched it, because Kojima watches everything.
Love that about him.
Yeah. But it's definitely one of those things where it's like, if you never watched it or heard of it, highly recommend it. It is a bit hard to follow at times.
Mm-hmm.
We also haven't talked about something also. We haven't talked about how good the music is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we talked about it beforehand, but it's just sort of nice that like it's not always traditional instruments. Like the scene where like they cross the Uji River, and it's not the music that you think it's going to be.
Right.
It's not like this highly epic soundtrack. It's like it's almost kind of lighthearted sounding in a weird way.
It's sprightly.
Yeah, it's brightly, but it's sort of like it helps demonstrate like sort of the chaos of the moment.
Hmm.
It's just everything about this show is just really well done. It's wild to think of how well made this
It's
series
just
is.
it's lovely. It is a lovely show.
Yeah, it's just it's not shocking why this didn't catch on because it's sort of like this is like a prestige work, but like the type of prestige work that the average person wouldn't watch.
Yeah.
Like I joked. I think I told you this. I was watching like the anime openings you try not to sing to, which those are always fun. And when I
Yeah.
watched those videos, like 95 of the percent of all the openings of shows I have never seen, and I'm like, ooh, Gintama opening 21. There's a lot of Gintama openings. That's the first thing I learned, and it's terrifying me. It scares
It's a
me.
whole lot.
It's a lot, but it's sort of like these are it's not a show that like the average person's going to watch, and that's fine. I guess
Yeah.
really what I hope this for anyone who listens to this podcast will do is go watch it.
Like even if the even if the premise doesn't sound like it'd be your thing, just give it a try.
Mm-hmm. It's a good show.
It is.
It's a really good show, and it's just kind of a shame that that's what that it like the problem was the big show of that year was Ranking of Kings,
Mm-hmm.
which I've seen Ranking of Kings. It is also incredibly good and also incredibly well written and well directed and well animated.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where everyone involved is like if you watched Ranking of Kings instead, you missed out, but not in a bad way.
Right.
You picked the other great show of that season, so you're fine.
It's a win either way.
Yeah, but it's not like what I'm trying to say is it's like there's certain shows that are destined for this,
Yes.
and like they're destined to be great, get a lot of attention, or even surprise hits. Like Demon Slayer was the surprise hit of a few years ago, just blew up everywhere. You've probably seen the youngings wearing the clothing.
Oh, I know it is a very popular series with the youngins.
Yeah, and I always sort of joke when we talk about it was that I remember like asking other friends because I don't talk to the young peoples too often, not for long, but
Hmm.
I don't hang around teenagers too often,
No.
despite my choice of profession, which puts
Well,
me.
they're smelly, so it's all right.
You know what? I've learned that also adult nerds are also pretty smelly.
Yes, they are.
But I asked, like, what is Demon Slayer the new Bleach in terms of it being like the one for sword weebs? Yes, it is. From what I've been told,
It
yes.
absolutely. There's no fucking question. Of course it is.
That's not an insult to either show. One of someone the sword weebs had to go somewhere.
Listen, Stross, I am a sword weeb.
So am I.
I'm a sword weeb, but I'm also a sword weeb.
That joke was horrible, and I love it.
But yeah, Demon Slayer was like kind of the the surprise hit, the sleeper hit maybe, but maybe that's not quite the right word, but you know what I mean.
I would say it was sort of the surprise hit that everyone that came out of nowhere. Whereas this was not a show designed for any of that. This is a show meant
No.
for people like us who think crying is a good time.
Yes.
And if you like yourself a good samurai story, this is the show for you.
Yes.
Because it's, especially if you're the type of person who wants something that isn't just full with a lot of violence,
Mm-hmm.
but and not a lack of violence, but like the violence isn't graphic. This is the type of thing you like I would show to someone and like ask me like what's a show that's very artistically well done.
It's it's a samurai show for those with a distinguished palate.
Or more accurately, if you like movies that are not just action, this is the samurai show for you. If you're someone who likes a good Kurosawa movie, this isn't a Kurosawa movie, or even in the same vein, but it's the idea of I want a drama.
It sits and it gets good and comfortable with its subject matter. And, maybe if it's not your thing, you'll find it a little bit boring, but it takes its time.
Yeah, and it's just nice to watch a show where, like, did you see Ranking of Kings?
I did.
Okay, then you know when I say like Reign of Kings is a great show. It's very well written, and like it is the only show where I can legitimately say I hate this woman, and by the end of the episode, you're like I would die for this woman and her children. And by the end of the series, you're like, this is the only woman in the world who matters. Fuck everyone else. I will kill for this woman.
Fuck everyone. I respect you.
And shout out to Queen Helling, my love and greatest woman alive.
Yes, indeed.
But it's like that's a show that's well written because it gives everyone like a very good multifaceted way of like how they act and what they do. This show is a lot like that, but it's like in the end, Ranking of Kings still had like its action sequences.
Yeah.
And there's still that like aspect of action that happens on screen. You're like, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think Heike's story is it's a very interesting kind of war as hell story. Like definitely not in the typical sense maybe, but I think it counts.
No, it does. But what I think the way to put it is, it's unlike say like a Gundam show or most other stories like this. It shies away from showing the violence as much as it shows the aftermath of it.
Yes.
And
Because
it shows the consequences of the action that happens.
it's not the violence that matters, it's the people that it impacts and it's the lives that it ruins and ultimately the dynasties that it cuts short.
Well, it's just like we're big Three Kingdoms fans. We're big like saying Goku Jidai people because we play a lot of Koei games and we're weird that way. We have our own brainworms, people.
Yes, we do. But that yeah, that's kind of our
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
so we're used to like violence is bad, but we're also used to just seeing stuff happen all the time.
Violence is bad, but also violence. Eyes emoji.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but violence is also fun.
Violence is kind of cool to watch sometimes. Violence
Yeah.
rocks.
Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes this is kind of cool. Lubu is cool.
It's fun when you see Lu Bu swing his halberd and send 10 dudes flying.
Yeah, this is great.
Like, yes, it's sad and it's meaningless and, people are destroyed, but it's fun to watch in the moment. This
Yeah.
is not that.
No, this is not that. This takes a look at like, yeah, all these skirmishes, they've hurt people.
It's like, look at this young man. Meet this young man. Know him and love him. Watch him be utterly destroyed because this is not the system in which he should be, working under.
No, it's also like we've just met Atsumori, and I don't know. Have you ever seen or know what happens in the no play of Atsumori?
I am familiar.
Well, then we can definitely. We're not gonna say it now, but you and I both know that like here's this wide-eyed youngster. It's not gonna go well for him.
It's like, oh, you baby, you are gonna get fed into the meat grinder like half an episode from now.
Is it a half an
Give
episode
or
from now?
take. Give or take.
Um,
Rough estimation. I don't know.
it's probably.
Don't spoil it for me.
I'm not sure. They don't put episode descriptions on Funimation's site, so
I know something bad's gonna happen to him.
yeah, it's definitely one of those. I would definitely say it's one of those things where it's definitely a great show. It's just not a lot of people were going to watch it, and I knew that, and it makes me mad. On a
It's tragic.
it's tragic, much like the story it's telling.
Hmm.
Hey, but it's tragic because you know that a lot there is an audience for this, so I highly recommend if you want to have a good time watching a really excellently made show, this is for you. We're basically at the halfway point. There's only like 5 episodes left,
Hmm.
and it's all downhill from here for us. Where it basically, I think the best way to put it is, I don't know how the next time is gonna go, but I feel like we're gonna be
It,
talking a lot about those last 2 episodes because we're watching three episodes
I
at a
get that
time.
feeling.
I know that ending's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt so good, Sardo. I'm sorry. I'm like,
I
you're welcome, and also I'm sorry.
I can kind of see it coming.
In a way, that's kind of the whole point. Is that we know it's coming. That's like the worst part about it.
Hmm.
Is that you just know, like, the whole feeling of this show could really be described as the feeling of uh-oh, but it gets louder every time. Just like uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh.
I'm so ready to be so sad so much.
Oh god, those last 2 episodes are back to back. The ending to this series is going to be very interesting, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. This is definitely a show. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You'll like it, unless
Yeah,
you're more into like fluff.
once again, like even if you see the premise and it's like, oh, I don't know if this is my thing, watch it anyway.
Yeah, I would say
You'll surprise yourself.
yeah. I everyone every once in a while should watch an artsy fartsy show like this. And I when I
It's
just to be clear, when I say artsy fartsy, I meant a show that's not really designed to be popular.
it's it's not like it's not popcorn entertainment kind of stuff. It's I don't know, sit there and be sad about it kind of stuff.
It every once in a while you need to watch something that is actually high minded,
Yeah,
and this is one of them.
agreed. And it's not a long watch, so
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's I would
it's like 11 episodes long. It's like a few decently short sessions of watching. It's nice. It's so
it
nice.
is, and also the opening is really good.
It is.
It's a good tune. I've been listening to it nonstop for about 2 years now. It's
It's a bop.
it is. It reminds me of Maps by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and that's important.
It does have that similar sound.
It's similar sound and energy.
Yeah.
Very
It
not similar in any other way, but in the ways that kind of sort of matter.
yeah. Good show. You should watch it. I am so sad and I am so mad. Um how dare you?
Yeah,
How dare you?
that's kind of the feeling you get when you watch this show. Is
You know what's going to happen, but you still feel a little betrayed when it does.
Yeah, I remember I told you Samurai and Sadness, and it's a really good description for what this is it's a good show, everyone.
Stross, I gotta ask, do we get to see the cat again?
Oh yeah, no, the cat that's Biwa's cat
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Don't
Good.
worry, the
Good.
cat sticks around for the most part.
Good.
So that's good news. The cat we now have a cat in this show.
Yay.
Some good things happen.
Biwa gets a cat.
We like Biwa. We haven't actually spent a lot of time talking about her, which is the funny part.
She's the main character.
Well,
But it's like things are happening around her.
a great way to put it is she's kind of here to bear witness to the events.
Yes.
Where it's not that she lacks personality. I want that to be made abundantly clear. It's just that
Oh, she's a terrific main character.
she is. It's just sort of like so much is happening, and her role in the story is to sort of be she who bears witness to the things that happen.
Sort of a Greek chorus thing, a little bit.
I
Not
mean,
quite. You
she
know what I
kind
mean.
of is the Greek chorus because the show stops every so often when things happen.
We learn about things happening kind of from her viewpoint and her place and everything.
Well, it's sort of like quite literally, there are scenes where a much older looking Biwa shows up playing her,
Her
Biwa.
Biwa.
Yeah, that's what she's named after. And she sings about the events that are happening. Sort of, that's how a lot of the action sequences go.
Mm.
And so, in a sense, she is the Greek chorus. In a sense, she's using literally parts of the tale of the Heike because of course she is.
Yeah.
And this is how it would be traditionally played this way. I'm gonna share a part of that with you when we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not there yet, and we won't be there for a while. Not for another 2 sessions. So that's coming. But yeah, I feel like it's a good show. Watch it. Don't have us just tell you what happens. Go see it for yourself because you deserve to watch an artistic show that demands you to pay attention to it because it's good.
It's yeah, I can't say more than that. It's good. It's really good. I like it.
Yeah, it's just a really well done show. And it's nice to have a show like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz you don't always cuz we grew up when we grew up like half the shows we got was what was thought was going to sell. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why a lot of the big shows from when we were kids were action series or I don't know, neat. So it's just nice to
Yeah.
be like we live in an era where a show like this can exist and find its audience.
Yeah, it's I more people need to know about this. Like I said, I have been recommending this to everybody I know who watches anime. So,
Oh yeah, no, I've recommended it to all my friends, and whether or not anyone actually watches it is a different story. I've been trying to get people to watch this for like 2 years. I've only
well,
succeeded once.
hi.
You're the success. I'm sorry, but you're also welcome.
I'm the success. That's so sad. Me, a success.
See, look, you finally succeeded at something. I mean, you
Oh,
succeed at more than
hooray.
that, just to make sure that's abundantly clear.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are a talented artist, and everyone who listens to this should know because all the thumbnail art is done by one person, and I
That's
have
me.
it's you, and I have zero input on it.
You don't have a choice.
If we ever get like a day where we upload and we're still doing the podcast and it's April Fool's, it's gonna be done by me, and I'm not sorry. It's gonna be so much worse.
I'm waiting for that beautiful MS Paint creation.
Oh, you're gonna be lucky if it's MS Paint. It's probably gonna be hand drawn and a photo taken of it from my shitty camera phone. If that phone survives 2 more years.
See how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it happens. Anyway, folks, before I guess we're wrapping up because now we're just joking about other dumber shit. The intellectual capacity of what we were talking about dropped from a 10 to 3.
I have run out of brain cells.
Yeah. Our sadness continues, and we'll continue next time we watch it and also record about it. We also have to talk about the Wo Long eventually because I finally finished it.
Yes. I need to because I'm probably not gonna like play through all the game myself just because I like to have fun and I know my limits. But I will get caught up on that and we will discuss that
At a later date. I did say it was going to be either later this month or the next month, and I was correct.
Mhm.
But yeah, so anyway, you can follow El Sardo Guapo here, or Sardo El Guapo, at Autopsy Garlands on Twitter. Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
Also on Twitch at Uncle Death with a K.
And hopefully next week, Wednesday, planning to stream some art on there soon. Fingers crossed.
Very excited for that. I'll be there, at least in chat. I'll even on mic if you want me to.
Yay!
I'm just not sure if I'm going to be... That's also my game night, so I might not be able to just do that. But we'll find out.
No worries. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I'll at least be in chat, so you can chat with me. Exciting. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Almighty Stross on twitter.com for as long as Twitter still works.
On the Twitter and the Twitch as well.
That is true. I stream Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. We're playing Wrath of the Righteous. Yeah, we're playing Wrath of the Righteous. We're about to retake the city of Canopus.
Yay!
Yeah, that will already have happened by the time this comes out, so we're going to be dealing with the fallout of retaking of the city of Canopus when that happens. Also, huzzah hurrah.
Hooray.
Anyway, folks, I hope you have a good time, whatever time of day it is. I hope you're ready to rock all night or all day, depending on your availability and time of where you're at.
Thank you for listening, you beautiful, beautiful people.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all of our, subscribers / listeners. I guess you should comment, and subscribe. I guess supposed to do that.
Oh, yeah. I smashed that like button. I don't know. We really appreciate everybody who's listened to this, followed, given the time of day. Thank you. You are awesome.
Yeah. Ring that bell, I guess?
If you want.
I don't understand why YouTube can't give you your subscriptions that easily. Only on the internet will things not work like they say they do. But folks, you have a good time now. We're gonna probably talk for a little bit longer and cry a bit.
All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, though.